Okay, hey y'all. Today I'm going to be showing you how I fix candy apples. It's the perfect time of year. Halloween's tomorrow, so I thought we'd get some candy apples going. First, I'm just going to use this Concord Foods candy apple kit. It makes 10 candy apples, the easiest way to do it. All right, we have our apples here. I've already washed and dried them. You want them dried really well. You don't want any water sitting anywhere. It comes with your sticks, so you just stick them in the top of the apple. But I like to take one extra step that you can or cannot do, but I'll show you what I do to keep my apples lasting longer. I take some paraffin wax, you get it warm, and you go in around the stick and drop some wax in to seal your apples. This, because you know your juices from the apples will leak out, and sometimes that'll ruin your candy coating, especially if you want to keep them for a day or two. Got that one. I think you can see the wax running out? There we go. Now we'll do this one. I just want to seal around the stick really good. Got some wax dropping off my hands. You want to do this, if you're going to do this with your kids, for goodness sakes, go ahead and do this step so you don't have to worry about kids and hot wax. All right, get that piece of wax up. All right, we have a 2-quart saucepan. We're going to add our whole candy apple kit mix. This comes in the box. Just add it in your saucepan. You want to mix in 2.5 cups of sugar. And a cup of water. And before I turn the stove on, I just mix all that together with a spoon. Such a pretty crimson red color. I love it, and I love the smell. My light went out, y'all. That's why I jerked. I hope you can still see me. Okay, now we're going to turn our eye on to medium high. I turn it a little bit higher if I can, just to get it to bring it to a boil. See your pretty color? Beautiful. And if you have any lumps, they'll go away as it cooks. But it says you need to get it to the candy crack stage, which is 302 degrees. So you will be cooking this 15 to 18 minutes on the stove. You don't have to stir it. I'm just stirring it to get some more of it incorporated together there. It's a little awkward handing off to the side. I'm trying to let y'all see what I'm doing. Okay, got it all going. And now we're going to let that cook once it comes to a boil. Once it comes to the boil is the really key factor there. Then you're going to let it cook for 15 to 18 minutes. I also have my candy thermometer. You can take it and take a little bit of it once you think it's cooked good enough and drop it in a cold glass of water, and you'll get a hard thread. which will also be your hard crack stage. But it's so much easier if you can get one of these. They sell them Walmart, anywhere you would need to get them. They're not but a few dollars. And they are invaluable because it tells you right there that 302 degrees is hard crack stage, which is what we're going to go for. Okay, everybody, we're down to about a minute left on the 15 seconds. So I'm going to stick my thermometer in there and see what we have. It'll only take just a few minutes to register. On these small pots, it doesn't like to clip on the side. It's if you got a much larger pot, it works. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about the apples that I'm using. These are Gala apples, and this is Granny Smith. I know these Granny Smith look really bad, but they had some issues with frost, or at least that's what I was told, in the North Carolina mountains. So the Granny Smiths, they had very few of them and they didn't look good. But I prefer the Granny Smiths because they're tart, and with the combination of the candy, it is delicious. So, Alexa, stop. That's my timer. Galas or any apples that you prefer are just fine. It's just that I like the tart crispness of the Granny Smith along with the candy coating. Now let's see where we are at. We're not quite there. We're at maybe 225. So it's going to take us a little longer cooking. I'll turn my eye up just a tad. All this just depends on your stove, your pot, everything. So, and I want to give you one other tip. Don't do candy apples if it's raining, extremely hot, or humid outside. The coating doesn't want to crisp up and you'll get a gummy candy apple. So wait till you have a nice cool day, like say in the 70s, if possible. You can try it, but I've done it before and it just doesn't work. The humidity here in South Carolina is so high. We have to wait till the conditions are pretty good to do this. I'm gonna stir that around in my pot and see what I get. My eyes are getting dim too, y'all. It's at about 250, so we got a little bit longer to go. But I wanted to tell you also, you get your good cookie sheet, take some Crisco shortening on a paper towel and smooth over your cookie sheet. Just a light greasing is all you want. Just enough so the apples won't stick. And also you see I have a 1/4 teaspoon of Crisco shortening. When this is brought up to the hard crack stage, then you're going to take this and dip it down in the candy mixture and stir it in. And that will help dissolve the bubbles because you have, I mean, it's just bubbles all over the top. And if you dip your apples in it right away with the bubbles in there, you're going to have bubbles on the apples. Technically, you're not supposed to have bubbles on your apples, but I sort of like it. It has a little pop to it when I bite into it. But I'm going to do the shortening today to show you the reason for that. It's getting thick, see? Isn't that beautiful? Oh, it looks so good. I try to do these every year, and I give them to my in-laws. My mom, if she's over this way, I give her some, or if my daughter and the kids come by, they can get one. But like I said, this kit only makes 10. And if you have really large apples, you may want to get you another kit just in case, because sometimes if my apples were really large, Like say this one here, excuse me, I have here, that's a big apple. You can see the difference in the sizes. Show you. Look at that. Huge difference. So I would advise you to get a second kit if you want to do that. You can also make you some toppings to go on these apples. After you've dipped them in the candy, just roll them in it. You can roll them in chopped nuts. You can actually chop up your Red Hots and put some more around on the outside if you like. The possibilities are endless. You could use cashews, any type of nuts you like. Any type of candy. Kids like little sprinkles on them, makes them really look so pretty. These are beautiful at Christmas time if you can find some good apples. They are gorgeous at Christmas. I just like to go ahead and make them and then take them and cut them up into wedges and put them on a tray. They go over really well also. So, whenever you get a chance, make you some candy apples. They're not hard. A lot of people are afraid of it, but there's no need to be afraid of it. Just do it. And if you mess up the first time, you'll learn. So we only have a little bit more time. This is almost at the 300-degree stage. You can see it starts getting, I'll try to lift this up, it's getting hot. See how it's getting thicker? And you can see the bubbles, they get lower and lower down in your pot, and you know it's getting thick then. I have this gas stove, so I have to be careful that the flames don't come outside of my pot. It smuts it up, and then I've got a lot of scrubbing to do. So I try to keep the flame under. It's wanting to dance out a little bit. I apologize for the hat, y'all, but I am going out in the yard to do some work, and so hence the hat. That's my favorite thing to work in the yard with. It keeps my hair out of my eyes and keeps me going. Let's see. Okay. We're at the hard crack stage. I'm going to turn the eye off. You can see it. Isn't that good? Ooh, it looks so good. I don't like to waste my candy, but you'll see how it, I'll show you. See how it kind of streams, but if you were putting a drop of that, just take that, have a cup of water sitting here, and just drop you a little dollop of it off of this into that cup, and it'll make a string going all the way down. All right, now we're gonna dip our apples. I'm gonna have to turn the pot this way for me. And you, well, sorry, getting ahead of myself. Let's put the shortening in there. Stir that around in there till it melts. Now this step is optional. It's up to you. It's melted, but I still see some bubbles, so we'll see what happens here. Let me get this over to the sink. All right, now we're ready to dip our apples. Can you see the mixture? Looks delicious. I just take my apple and do it in there like that. It's not sticking that well. I just stick it to again. You can double dip your apples, whatever you like. I like to get a good coating on mine. And I like that little wedge at the bottom. If you have real pretty green apples, you can leave a little bit up at the top. It's really pretty. if you make the coating too thick, it's really hard for people to eat. You see that apple right there on the side? That's where I got a little bit of wax in the way. And it won't adhere to that. Just do a little twisty and let some of it drip. Place it on your sheet. Just roll your apple in that candy mixture. It's so pretty. Oh, it's beautiful. We got 3 more after this one. That'll be our 10 apples. We're going to have some candy left over because these are such small apples. But I'll show you what I like to do if I have enough. Sometimes you don't, sometimes you will. Depends on the apple. There's another one. It gets a little bit more difficult as you go. That candy is cooling down. It cools down really fast. Okay. Let me grab a spoon real quick. I need a small spoon. Let me get one from over here. Just bear with me a minute. Okay, so we have some candy still in the pot, so I just take it and drizzle it over my apples. I just like the way it looks. If you don't have to. I like it to just be covered with that luscious candy. See how stringy it gets as it's cooling? And it gets thicker and thicker. Everybody that I make candy apples for loves the candy, so that's why I put a little extra on mine. I have double dipped them if I had a lot of candy, if I didn't do all 10. The only thing is you're going to have to cut them with a knife. You better not bite into them. You might not have any teeth left. But I don't bite into an apple anyway. I use a knife and cut it first. And cut me some wedges. When my daughter was small, I used to take little spoons and I would cover it with the candy mixture and let it harden on the spoon for her to eat because she couldn't wait for the apple to cool. She wanted it so much, so I would fix her some spoons to lick on. And plus, if you have little small ones that you can't give apples to yet, you could give them a little taste with that. Let them lick a spoon, or if you got extra sticks, you can dip the sticks in there. Got some on that stick. It's getting harder to do. It's getting thicker. And all that candy that's dropping on this cookie sheet, because it's greased, it'll come right off. See how tough it's getting? Whew. It's really cooling down. It's nice outside today. It's cool in the house. Feels wonderful. We're having some beautiful weather today. I was going to do this yesterday, but it rained and I knew not to start this. So you can take your spoon and get it on there. And you got a little extra sweet treat for you for later. Look at all that candy. See how it's getting breakable? Just like threads. So you put that in your sink. Run some hot water in it. Put a little dish detergent in it. So that can do the work for you. I stick my spoon, everything that I've used in that pot. Get the water really hot in there, and I just let it sit and melt itself. I do not fight with that. All right, let's see. There's your candy apples. When they're cooled down, you can take those little cellophane bags, cinch them up, put your pretty little red ribbon on them, however you'd like, and go give them out to family and friends.